Hi there. Today we will be discussing one of my most beloved anime films I've ever had the pleasure of watching, 5 centimeters per second. Its artistry and presentation still gives me chills. The original soundtrack for the film still brings a tear to my eye, and although I haven't given it a watch in well over 10 years, I can never forget its somber story. 5 centimeters per second is a 3-part film animated by the talented studio Comics Wave Films and created, written, and directed by the legendary Shinkai Makoto. Shinkai and the studio are responsible for many great animated films, such as The Place Promised in Our Early Days, The Garden of Words, Weathering with You, and as well as the critically acclaimed and very popular film Your Name, along with many others. 5 centimeters per second is actually the first film that I had seen from this director and studio whose every film produced showcases an amazing and realistic art style direction that you don't find in most animated features. The film was released in the spring of 2007 to critical acclaim and won the 2007 Asia Pacific Screen Award for Best Animated Film. It also saw an adaptation as a light novel in the fall of that same year, written by Shinkai, the director. Later on, we received a manga version, published from 2010 to 2011, written once again by Shinkai, and featuring art from Sekai Yukiko, who provided some stunning visuals on par with the film itself. Both the visual novel and manga offer a deeper look into the characters shown in the film, which instead takes a more visual storytelling approach. 5 centimeters per second asks the question of what happens when two people love each other but just aren't meant to be together. Takai Tuno and Akari Shinohara are childhood friends, but circumstances beyond their control tear them apart. They promise to stay in contact, and although the progression of time widens the distance between them, their chain of memories remains ever present. 5 centimeters per second is a romantic drama that focuses on the mundane and harsh reality of long-distance relationships. Stuck in the past and unable to make any new memories, Takaki and Akari cling to the hope of seeing each other again. They live their everyday lives half-heartedly, both hurting themselves and the people around them. There are a lot of great qualities that stand out in this film for me. The narration of the characters throughout the film is great and really helps put you into their headspace. And with the amazing art style and animation, it really helps to create these amazing in-depth scenes that transport you to their world. 5 centimeters per second utilizes and replicates many filmmaking techniques as well, such as depth of field, lens flare, and various impressive camera angles. And in fact, at times it makes me forget that I'm even watching an animated film. As I said before, a lot of Shinkai and Comics Wave Films productions use a similar art style that I feel are more alike to moving paintings almost. The first part of the film introduces us to our main focus, the relationship between Takaki and Akari, who are currently in elementary school and have both recently transferred to this new school in Tokyo. They quickly become pals due to their preference of spending time in the library during recess rather than play outside with the other kids. This brands them as outsiders, and the other classmates tease them about their relationship, but the two take it in stride. We really don't get to know these characters on a personal level all too well, but the presentation and feeling that these opening scenes give off provides plenty of substance to find yourself lost in. Regardless, after building up their relationship for quite some time, all the way through to middle school, their relationship sees their first road bump when Akari sadly has to move from Tokyo to a more rural town with her parents and has to change schools. Even after this, they maintain a long-distance relationship by sending each other letters as much as possible, thinking about each other daily. Takaki soon finds the time to make the journey out to visit Akari, and so we join him and his thoughts on an excruciatingly long bullet train ride through a heavy snowstorm so they can spend some time together. Upon reuniting, they share a home-cooked meal and keep each other company with great conversation. Even with this meeting being a success, Tataki knows in the back of his head that this relationship can't be sustained with how far apart they live, and comes to the stark realization that they won't always be together. They also still have so much of their lives ahead of them, and the future looks very uncertain. In part 2, we see now that Takaki is attending his final year of high school, is soon to graduate, and has since moved even further away, going from Tokyo to a new island residence because of his parents' work. We have left behind the cold and dreary winter backdrops provided in the first part, and now see vibrant scenes of summer with beautiful sunsets, beaches, and nighttime skies filled with stars. We are introduced to a new girl, Kane, who has harbored feelings for Takaki ever since he had transferred, and has since been struggling to find the words to tell him for some time now. Part 2's narration and perspective are from Kane's point of view this time, as we follow her swirling emotions, all while viewing many melancholic scenes of pastel summer skies and moments of unrequited love and sadness as they ride their scooters home together most days after school. As much as she wants to profess her love, she just can't find the words or the right moment, and gets the feeling Takaki is always just looking through her, that his mind is always somewhere else. Her assumptions are correct. Takaki still has feelings for Akari, and has many dreams of reuniting with his first love, even though their long-distance messages have ceased, along with their relationship. Still, he chooses to blindly ignore the love surrounding him in these moments. In the third and final part, we are transported to the adult lives of Takaki and Akari, who now have full-time careers and responsibilities. Akari is soon to be happily married, and while she does still have fond memories of their childhood relationship, she has clearly moved on with her life. All the while, Takaki is currently in a failing relationship he doesn't even want to commit to, and is visibly filled with sorrow throughout his days, unable to love others and move on. Clearly, he is still clinging to a relationship, an idea of love that has been over and lost for years now. We follow Takaki and his walks through Tokyo as he longs for his days past, as the scenes and narration in the film build up to the billowing final track of the film that ties together the entire score of the film, One More Time, One More Chance, performed by Yamasaki Masayoshi. This beautiful song is accompanied by flashbacks of scenes previously shown throughout the characters' lives, as well as breathtaking aerial shots of Tokyo, juxtaposed to the current lives of the characters, and provides a beautiful sucker punch of emotions and a great climax to the film. My absolute favorite part of the film by far, the song does a fantastic job of really portraying the bittersweet and melancholic emotions that have been delivered throughout the film. And just like real life, we find that there is no grand reunion between the two main characters, no rekindling of a relationship that had been over for years. This movie highlights the dangers of nostalgia, holding on to the past, and not looking forward to the future and living your own life in the moment. Instead, blindly going through the motions for an ideal situation you've just made up in your head, which, to be fair, I've been guilty of in the past as well. I really appreciate this movie for its accurate and grounded representation of love, relationships with others, and showcasing how the distance that separates us can decay love itself. While I believe you should always cherish moments that are close to you, they are just that, moments in the past that we move further away from each day, and we must learn to separate them from reality. After watching this film again, I fully understand its nuance and messages, even more so now compared to over 10 years ago upon my first viewing of it. This is a rare case of a film that really grows with you over time and only becomes more impactful with each subsequent viewing, truly making it a timeless piece of art in my eyes. I really can't express how much this film means to me, and while it can feel a bit slow at times, as well as lacking context in terms of who these characters are and their feeling at certain moments, especially when compared to the manga and light novel, it's still one of my favorite animated films of all time. Please, if you haven't, check it out, or one of the amazing films, made by Shinkai and Comics Wave Films, there's a lot to pick from. The manga and light novel are certainly worth checking out on their own as well if you enjoy the story the film provides. But if you share any memories or experiences with this beautiful series or have any thoughts about the video, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for your time.